We just like to get together with our people on here. So we appreciate you being on here tonight. You know,
100%, dude.
yeah, this is Anthony, and from the Hive Mind, I got Daniel on here, and I got Matthew. How do you say your last name, man? So I don't butcher it.
Pamfillis.
Pamfillis. Okay, I think I had it right.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah. So you're an investor. You're in Florida, or are you doing deals in Florida, or both?
Yes. So originally from Baltimore, Maryland, but I live down here in Tampa, Florida now. I just recently graduated from the University of Tampa. 22, so I just graduated in May, and I'm doing deals down here in Florida. We were doing single family, but we kind of accidentally fell into land. I can kind of elaborate on that.
I accidentally fell into land too, so it's so cool that you say that, dude. Hey, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Son of a gun, dude. When we were talking, that when I was over there in Fort Lauderdale, when we went to the restaurant, I'm like, this kid is so freaking wise. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and that kind of stuff? Like, who raised you, and what have you learned? Like, where did you come up? How did you end up where you are now? Because you have a very like powerful work ethic and ideology. Like, how did all that come about?
First of all, I really appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. That's a good question. I guess I can kind of just like do like a quick like life story. I'll make it brief.
You're good.
I don't know. I've always loved to like sell things. I don't know if it was a business because I didn't have any. I'll get into it. So my first like experience with selling was I sold my neighbor rocks when I was like 5 years old, and like obviously there was no value in them, but she just like was supporting me as a young entrepreneur, which was kind of funny. But then like doing like car washes and like just anything to like kind of like earn money like when I was a kid. But then I started a lawn mowing company when I was like 10 or 11 and did that through like middle school, and halfway through I did do it in high school. I think I did it. Yeah, I think I stopped in high school. I worked for a retirement home in high school, like for all 4 years, because they like gave me scholarship money for college. And I'm really glad that I did that because it made me even like further realize that I never want to work for somebody, and like understanding what it is like to be like working for someone and like hating it, and like being micromanaged and like, oh, like made to feel like small, I suppose. There's so much nobility in working for others, but like it's not for me. So it was a good experience to do that. And then I decided to go to school, University of Tampa. I think I started in like 2017. And then I was just like looking for like something, like some kind of like opportunity. And my freshman year, I got involved with like some multi-level marketing company, which they've got bad raps. I mean, I'm sure there's some good parts about it, but I'm glad that I did that because it made me be able to get rejected a lot, which is like super, super necessary. Like going to people and like talking to like close ones and like trying to sell them. It's like definitely multi-level marketing companies are not for me, like particularly.
Can I interject real quick?
Absolutely.
Cool, man. Yeah. So sorry to cut in, but we'll usually run all of our masterminds and all of our conversations where it's just like a free, like just jump in when you think of something. And that's kind of funny. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. Is that what you mentioned is that, network marketing companies have this negative stigma because more than likely somebody's got in there, tried to push a whole bunch of protein powder to their friends and family, ended up with $8,000 worth in their garage, and it didn't go anywhere. So now they're like, that's the worst business ever. But I have a friend named Matt Morrow. He's partially responsible for the structure of the Hive Mind and some of the legals and the reason that it came, to light so quickly, or it came to life so quickly. And he posted on Facebook one day. He even forgot the quote because I asked him about it recently. And he said that if you become good at network marketing, he said, you will become disproportionately better at all of your friends and colleagues and contacts in business and everybody else. And it blew the top of my lid off, man, because I've been fascinated by the business for 20 years. And like anybody else, I failed at my first 3 or 4 companies. And then eventually I got it. The light bulb came on and I became like a top recruiter in a company just in a matter of months. So it's kind of cool that you had that experience at a very young age and that you took a liking to it. So I just wanted to point that out real quick. That's super cool, man. That explains a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was definitely like a very good experience to be thrown into that. And yeah, so I stopped working with that company. And then I was just like, I was still in college. I was looking for like an opportunity, like something to do. And then I don't know, I'm sure some people will know who this is. Alex Science. He's a big wholesaler in Arizona. And I saw one of his, I think, Instagram videos, and I bought his course, and like, I think it was like $500, which felt like so much money at the time. And I like went through that, understood what wholesaling was. I'm sorry if you hear that. I'm doing my laundry. I'm flying back home to Maryland tomorrow, so gonna get my laundry done.
No, all good, man. We got crying kids in the background and dogs barking and everything. So no, all good. This is real life.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, anyway, I just like got involved with wholesaling, tried doing it myself, like bought bandit signs and put them up at like 4 a.m. at Friday night. Like people, all my friends were like going out and having fun, and just like, I'm out here putting bandit signs out. I think that I got 3 phone calls from that, doing it like every weekend. I honestly only did it for a month because it was like, this is hard to go put all these out and then go pick them up like 2 days later. I had to like write down on a note where everything was. But then I started working for I interned for a company one summer back in Maryland they were doing a lot of wholesale deals. So I understood the process. I was more on the acquisition side, which is definitely my skill set. And then came back to Florida for my junior year, maybe. I think it was my junior year. I came back and started trying to wholesale again. Didn't work. I went and worked with the company again. Then I kind of had a falling out with them. And then started wholesaling by myself again, just continuing to try and cold call, text people. I don't know what my first deal was. I think my first deal actually on my own was not long ago, like maybe a year ago. I think it might have been like $4,000, right? Like yeah, something like that. I could probably pull up a check. I just don't know where that is right now. But then the beginning of this year, I think we did like, I think I made like 10 grand in like January, which was like sick. Like that felt insane to do that. And I accidentally, well, I did accidentally fall into land, but this isn't, I'll get into that. But I did like one land deal here in Tampa. I probably could have made a lot more on it, but I didn't know like really how to do it. I made like $2,500 on it, but I definitely could have made like, I don't know, like 7,500, like a little bit more, but I didn't really know how it worked. So continued to do houses, like wholesale houses throughout the year. And then I think in September was a pretty good month. I like wholesaled a retail house, like a retail buyer, which is really interesting way to do it. Kind of, it was cool. It's not like the typical wholesale model, but I then had to, I think this is like September, October of this year. I poorly planned my marketing for like my VA, and I just like pulled a list really quick. I was like, she starts working at like 10 a.m. or like 11 or something like that. It was like 9:50. And I was just like on PropStream. I pulled like 6 counties worth of vacant land, tax delinquent, like 10 plus years ownership, something like really niche. And it just like, I got like a ton of leads from it. And then I was like, wait, this is kind of interesting. And then like even further into that, I identified like a county within those counties that was like producing most of those leads, which is like Polk County, Florida. And I just started marketing there. And I think I got like, I should know this because it's like, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And I should definitely know this, but I think we did like 8 to 10 deals in October,
Wow.
October, November. Yeah. So I think we did like 36K in October, which, I mean, we could definitely improve on things like increasing deal size and whatnot. But it was really cool to like realize how much volume you can do with land. And it's just so much more simple. I feel like it's taking the full on like the wholesale model of find a deal, market, find a deal, like put it under contract and sell it. And it's not like going and trying to like let somebody into a house, like a buyer, like let a buyer into a house, coordinate with tenants and all that kind of stuff. It's not as convoluted as wholesaling house. Not that there's anything wrong with it. We're still gonna wholesale houses, but like it's a very like, it's a much more simple process, which is just like, it's cool. It's yeah.
I
That
think
was like,
that
if I was
I feel
all
the
over the
same way.
place, I'm sorry, but
No,
if I went on tangents.
no, you're good, man. And it's funny too. Now that I'm talking to you again, it's like because we totally vibed in Florida, and then now talking to you again, I'm like, man, this guy thinks exactly like I think. Like you say a lot of the same things. Your brain kind of wanders down the same hallways. So that's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, 36K in a month. I mean, that's not child's play. You know, a lot of professionals that go to college don't do that. So, and then you're like, yeah, you know, I want to make it better. And that's kind of how I think. Like, I could make
Yeah.
$8 million one day on one deal, and I'm gonna be like, damn it, I could have made 9. Son of a bitch.
Dude, 100%, 100%. Like I love that. Like, and if I could go off that point, like I made last year, I made like $4,000 in the business. Like I think $4,000, maybe 5,000. Like maybe no, I made 4,300 actually. $4,355. I think I can pull up a check for that. And then this year, so far we've done like 109,000, but we'll probably do like which people are doing it at such a higher scale, but it's like kind of cool where it's like, okay, now
you hit 6 figures. 6 figures is a big deal. Don't let it go.
Yeah. I appreciate that. But like now I'm like, okay, cool. Like let's do that next month, you know? So like, and this is something that I recently am trying to practice more of, enjoying the process, and like I'm exactly where I need to be right this moment. And like it's important to have drive for things and like ambition for things, but like it's really, really important to like realize that you're exactly where you need to be. And like you shouldn't, like, definitely have urgency, have a healthy urgency for things, but like don't like risk other aspects of your life to like get something. Like it's like you should have balance. So that's something that I'm trying to practice now with
That's
my
me, bro.
life and business.
It's a yin and the yang, and I think that's me. Like I'm the most patient guy you're ever gonna meet. Like I'm trying to do 80 years worth of work like in 12 months. And also with that, sometimes I gotta wake up in the morning and meditate for 40 minutes, you know, so I can just calm down, get centered, everything's gonna be fine, trust the process, but also like not waiting for destiny like to unfold in front of me. Like I'm gonna go out there and kill something. So I totally feel you, man. That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of, I think what's cool, man, you hit your first 6 figures in real estate. That's definitely an accomplishment. Don't let that slide. I think it kind of opens your eyes. Like once you get your first deal, like, yes, I could do this. And then like, once you hit like a accolade, like 6 figures, you're like, man, I can hit millions next. So now you get your systems in order, you get your marketing in order, get your process in order. That way you can hit that million next. So I think it's man, you did 8 deals in a month. Just coordinating that as its own thing, even if there are small spreads. Doing 8 deals in a month is a good thing too, man. So I think it's huge. And I think one of the biggest things, like, we like land too, because nobody's gonna walk 30 acres. They're just not gonna walk it. They'll walk, maybe they'll be out there for 30 minutes and then they'll just leave, which is like a half acre. So we love land just because of the ease of the process. So it's kind of funny how you fell into that too. So you said you're mostly doing land now, but you're still not afraid to do single family in Florida. Is it all over Florida or just Tampa area?
That's a good question. I mean, I would consider anything anywhere. I would consider it doesn't matter. Like I would consider something anywhere. We've got a buyer right now. This is kind of like really cool. I have a deal under contract in Spring Hill, Florida, which is like north of Tampa. And a realtor is actually helping me out on that deal, but the buyer, I mean, we don't have it under contract with the buyer yet, but the person who might be buying it, he just bought 500 units in a hotel in India. So it's like, it's crazy at like the scale that some people are at. And that's kind of like a total tangent, and I'm not answering the question you just asked me. I just thought it was a cool thing. But yeah, anywhere in Florida, like it doesn't really matter. We would look elsewhere. I'm looking at a 30 to 40 lot portfolio in where is that? In Memphis, Tennessee right now, and then 100 lots in Alabama or Louisiana. I'm sorry, I have to like analyze those deals. I gotta get on it. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like, I don't know, like we would look anywhere. I really want to buy my first multifamily deal. I want to get like something that's 100+ units, like a value add in like a B or C area. Anywhere, I would look anywhere. Somewhere like landlord friendly, like a landlord friendly state. it'd be sick if that could be in Florida, but I'm not really like specific to where that would be. So I'm actively searching for that. So if anybody sees this, then and they have something like that, please let me know. I will pay. I don't care how much you make $200,000 on it.
You know, the crazy thing about this, we did an interview, I would say 2 weeks ago, and he's like, I'm looking for like a 6 unit in Atlanta, Alabama, or Florida, like somewhere in the Southeast. Literally the next day, somebody brought us a 12 unit, and I shot him the deal. So
Wow.
like a lot of stuff is like, no one knows what you're looking for if you don't put it out there. So we tell people all the time, tell people what you do, tell everybody what you do. You should be posting on Facebook. I want to buy land. I want to buy houses. I'm looking for a multifamily. Put that out there at least once a week, because if you don't put it out there, no one's going to know that you're looking for it.
Coach Simmons has the best line for this that I actually love, because I think everything should be funny. It's like a disease that I have. I think everything should be absolutely comical. Very hard for me to take things seriously. And so I love this line from Coach Simmons. He says, we are not secret agents. You got to tell everybody what you're doing. And I love that mindset, dude. Like, we're not a freaking 007 doing things in the background. Tell everybody. You got to announce it. So here's one prime example. I think yesterday I posted on Facebook. I took a picture of Texas on Google Earth, and then I just circled this big area. And I'm like, I'm looking for 500 to 5,000 acres in this area. I'll pay you no less than $100,000 plus for finding it. And man, I got like 6 inbound messages. So it really, like, who in the heck thinks that a Facebook post is going to bring you 6 leads, right? If you're doing that on Google PPC, you're somewhere between like $40 and $100 per lead. So I made $600 with a Facebook stories post, you know.
I love that way of thinking.
Yeah, man, it's free advertising. And I've been in the marketing business for a long time. So I bought a commercial dealership, just over half an acre, 0.56 acres for $330,000. And when I tell people that story, they're like, why'd you do that? Like, if I made some kind of treacherous mistake, because there's 70,000 cars passing in front of that place per day. So for me, in my mind, 70,000 impressions on Facebook, I think it's like $1,000 or $2. I got to check my latest metrics. But it's like I'm making $2,000 every single day in eyeballs just for holding that place. You know, that's how my brain works. Like, yeah, what's the ROI?
I was actually thinking about you the other day. So I'm like getting more involved in crypto. I wanted to share this idea with you, and I'm glad that we're all on this conversation right now. So I'm like getting more involved in crypto. I definitely I know probably like 5% of like I know like 1% of like what's available out there. So definitely like a beginner, but I'm learning more about it. And I just put like $100 into Decentraland, Mana, MANA, and it went up like 150. Yeah, it went up like 150% or something. And it's like virtual. I think it was like 2 days. It's pretty cool.
Dude,
I sold it.
My friend posted this about in Roughneck to Real Estate, the Facebook page. He posted about Decentraland in the Roughneck page, a big time 14,000 real estate investors group, and you had about 12 comments of people ridiculing him. And I was the very last comment in, and I said, hey, these guys in here are all Neanderthals. I said they can only think in terms of physical real estate. I said, so don't try to sell them. And it 5x since he made that post.
Yeah. It's definitely really cool. We can definitely get into a rabbit hole, but the particular idea, like within Decentraland or like Sandbox, whatever it is, whatever kind of like virtual real estate, I guess ecosystem. I was just thinking in terms of Decentraland, but anyway, so buying a plot of land, I think there's only like 43,000 parcels within Decentraland. And like buying one, I think you can buy one. The floor price is like $5,000. So like 1.5 Ethereum or something. That's probably not true. Exactly right. Anyway, the point I'm trying to articulate is buying a virtual piece of land and then putting a billboard on it that says I buy land IRL and hyperlink it to a website. I think that would be like really cool. And I just thought that like you would be interested in that idea.
Dude, okay, so this leads a whole nother this is its own universe.
Yeah.
So I had already 2 or 3, master marketing friends. One just got hired on for $100 million a year company. And we've all been talking about the same thing, is that whoever starts to steal the ad space first in the metaverse is going to be like the most wealthiest people on the planet. Because if you can like hack Facebook ads or Google ads and make 2 million a year or 10 million or 100 million a year, that's dope. But I think the metaverse is going to break all logic, because it's not based on physical assets now. So now somebody who's a baller, some kid that lives in Dubai, he goes into the metaverse and he buys a $12 million mansion. So just so people can come hang out at his $12 million mansion that does not exist anywhere except in cyberspace. And we're about to head into that at the speed of light. It's not like 10 years out. Like this shit's happening next weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if we start to buy that ad space, dude, it is over, like literally over. There's going to be trillions of dollars transferred within probably like months.
And
yeah,
it's a really interesting concept, dude.
Yeah, I'm all over that, man.
Yeah, we're getting down a rabbit hole, and cut me off if we need to like get back to anything.
Well, no, this is part of the show, bro. It's just who you are. Like, who in the hell's in the hive mind? Like this guy.
So I was talking to one of my friends who has a marketing company here in Tampa. If anyone here is in Tampa, it's called Modern Media Group. They're really great. Anyway, so we were talking about this at dinner, and he's like, dude, like there's going to be a point where like a brand is started within the metaverse, and it's going to be like Gucci or like Louis Vuitton, whatever it is, like some very notable brand that's selling clothes for like your avatar. It's like kind of crazy. Like, people are going to spend like crazy amounts of money on like this clothes and like these clothes, and like there's no product there. It's like you're creating it. I don't really exactly know how it would work. I think you'd have to like, I don't really even know, but it's just crazy. Like we're reaching the singularity. What's going to happen? And also the fact about like all the like trillions of dollars being pushed into the metaverse and like just the crypto markets in general is like absolutely true. I was on a crypto thread, or like a Twitter thread about crypto, how there's like $430 trillion of like total global wealth. And the theory is that like Bitcoin, like if all of that 400 trillion is transferred at like to the Bitcoin market cap, then like each Bitcoin will be worth like $25 million. And then like each like dollar will be equivalent to like one Satoshi, which is like 0.00001 Bitcoin or whatever it is. I just think it's like crazy. Like it definitely, it's cool.
This is what I'm talking about right now, dude. If you want to talk about some rabbit holes, let's get into some wormholes. Okay. Yeah. I believe right now with all this transfer that's going to happen, it's the same way that physical assets are being transferred into digital assets. Simultaneously, what not a lot of people are talking about is that the physical analog world is being converted into digital now. So everything's going to be slapped with the timestamp, with a digital, code. Everything's going to start to be recorded in history now for all time, right? So that's something that's like a subculture, or like the underlying code that's writing the metaverse, right? Everything physical is being digitized. So that's another thing that people aren't paying attention to and that people are not capitalizing on. I have a friend who NFT'd the English language. So anytime you use you have a hashtag on social, he's getting paid for it. He's mining crypto by people hashtagging English, right? So we can do that in Spanish. It costs several $100,000, but we can like hashtag the Spanish language. So now anytime somebody pumps a hashtag, it's turning into crypto. It's mining crypto for him. So that project's going to make him like 64 million at launch, plus whatever he's going to make for all time, because he minted the words. So that's something people aren't thinking about. Yeah,
dude, that's insane that you say that. And yes, costs are very high. However, there's this one, we should talk about this maybe. I don't know if this is like,
I was going to say, let's have like five or six of us jump in on this conversation next time on a Zoom.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. And like we definitely should, but like I don't want to like take away from if there's any other things that we were gonna talk about.
That's it. Like I said, it's called Meet the Hive. So it means like who in the hell's in the hive mind? What kind of person in his right mind joins the hive mind? Like you. Everything you just said. NFTs, crypto, future, digital, and I've been learning a lot about cryptos, about creating one. I think if you try to code it from the ground up, I think that's a bigger adventure than I probably want to embark on. So I'm thinking a fork off of an existing token. We're talking to consultants right now. We're really moving into it. And so the main thing that makes a NFT or a crypto or a token valuable is the community. Right? That's the only thing that would sustain a digital asset like that, or at least give it life. And I'm telling Daniel this every day. What are we building right now?
Community.
We are building the community. So no matter which direction we head in, we're already building out the assets. So I would like to see a token where you can buy advertising from us. You could pay your monthly, software subscription for the CRM. You can buy marketing. You could buy houses. You could buy land, everything using our token. So you say, hey, dude, I want to throw 100 grand into that mini sword you guys are going to take down in San Antonio. And we're going to say, cool, we can't take cash. You gotta wire your token to this account. It's the only way to get in. So it's like an economy that's going to have its own currency. So that sounds like our own little universe to me already, man. So plus, if it's a community token, not a centralized token, then we completely circumvent all SEC laws. It doesn't apply to us. So instead of us being like the main token holders, the top 2 or 3, we're going to make it a community token where the top 20 or 40 leaders, are all going to get dispersed the same amount of tokens. So our money is going to be decentralized automatically from the beginning. And so now we can fundraise at scale hundreds of millions of dollars, and SEC laws don't apply to us because it's not a security.
Yeah, we definitely talked about something of like similar scale at dinner that when we were in Fort Lauderdale, but I love that. I think it's so cool. I loved like decentralization. And like, yeah, I feel like it's so interconnected with like decentralization of like money, and then also like with community, like the hive mind, like to circle back, like it's all connected. It's like so decentralized. Like I'm sure some people here know DeAndre. He and I did some deal together. I like hit him up about it. I was like, hey, do you have a buyer here? And he was like, yeah, I do. And then he was like, oh, like buyer, doesn't want it anymore, but like, I'll buy it. Like, do you want to like take it down together? I was like, no, dude, like just go ahead and take it. And so he bought that deal. And the reason for me saying that is like, I just like randomly hit him up. I like didn't really know him at the time. And I just like randomly hit him up because like he's a part of the group, and like he was able to help me connect on a deal. And like it's cool because like you can see that, like you can just like connect randomly with somebody in the group and like do deals together. I'm sure I don't even know, like maybe you guys know or could speak to this, but I'm sure like partnerships have or are going to be formed like because of this.
No, what I was going to say, one of the reasons, the way we built HiveMind is it's a decentralized real estate company. Yes, it's a CRM, but just like you have that connection, that's the whole point of this. Like, we don't want to be like a lot of gurus. They run their own company and they run their own machine, and they're the star. We are the opposite. We're trying to push everybody else to be the stars, which I mentioned that at the beginning of the call, because if we push everybody to be the stars, everyone's a star.
Yeah.
And dude, that's the first time you've ever said that, is the HiveMind is a decentralized real estate company. I've never heard that before. And that's exactly what's going on here. We want to get wealthy too. And we're obviously going to get wealthy for sure. But again, the only way that it works is if everybody else around us does. If our top 100 people or our top 1,000 people all become just deca millionaires, that's how you know that the HiveMind became successful. If me and Daniel end up with 100 million in the bank, we failed miserably because we should have 1,000 friends that we help get to that level. And that's kind of what the thinking is. So now we go beyond what a hedge fund could do, right? Because if you have 3,000 rich friends that could throw in a couple million each, I think we're going to destroy that. And then also things like moving into the token and like thinking about in terms of buying like already advertising space in the metaverse, buying land in the metaverse, stuff that doesn't even exist yet. I think our thinking, it's not dreamlike, it's not science fantasy anymore. It's like, it's where we're headed. And the people that don't see it's like better for us. Let's get there first. And that's where we're going, man. That sounds awesome. I never heard that before. So I was like, holy shit, wait a minute. I just had an epiphany.
I'm gonna have to timestamp this one. So
hey, what'd you say? It went digital. What did you say?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember what I said exactly.
You said you were gonna timestamp it or something?
Oh, we have to timestamp it because one thing, me and Anthony, we like having these conversations, and it's okay to have this conversation right now, today, November 21st, 2021.
Oh yeah. I feel you.
It's okay to have this conversation November 21st, 2021, because you can always go back, and that's one of the beauties of, he was talking about history being coded into the metaverse, is that everything will be timestamping. Like, man, these motherfuckers were fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's really cool to think about. Damn, we're gonna see this in like 10 years and be like, oh wow, we were right.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of these conversations.
Mhm.
You know, I was gonna say that I have a friend named Sean Ailey, ALY. He's on my Facebook. He's a roofer in Corpus, and super cool guy. And before I launched my very first real estate campaign, I like started learning about real estate for like 2 weeks, and then just launched a campaign. But I called Sean. I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment by myself, and I told him everything that was about to happen. Like I predicted the whole entire future. I felt like we hung up like at 3 or 4 in the morning, after like an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long conversation. And I told him, I said, I'm about to get into real estate. Just FYI, if you want to come with me. We were both in the commercial roofing business. And I said, I'm about to open up my own hedge fund. I'm going to open up my own bank, my own credit unions, my own land holdings company, a land lending company. And I'm about to start buying real estate all over the globe. And I gave him this whole breakdown of how it was going to go step by step for a couple of hours. And I hadn't even got my first contract yet. I haven't even started marketing yet, because I already saw what was about to happen. If you do marketing in a certain way and you're looking for a specific type of asset, then essentially what you're doing is you're turning on a cash fountain that will never turn off, like a money printer. So now, if I did it by myself, yeah, maybe I'll hit $1 billion before I die. I'll be the land guy of Warren Buffett before I die. It might take me 50 years. But what if I taught 10,000 people all over the globe to do the exact same thing? So that's what's going to take it to scale, is actually the people that are here,
dude.
not me. Yeah.
That's so true, dude. I agree with that entirely. And it's like, by helping other people, you can just like do more deals. And like, even if it's like, I know you are doing a deal, you're making like a ton of money on like several 6 figures, which is like insane. I was like blown away when I heard that. I watched that one YouTube video, but like,
I'm working on my second.
You're like, yeah, dude, that's sick. Yeah, dude, that's so sick. But it's like you're like helping people, and like that opportunity probably wouldn't have come about if you didn't like network and like meet people and stuff like that. You know, like we did. Yeah, just like networking with people, you can just like open yourself up to so many more opportunities, and like deals. So I totally agree with you.
So
that's
Anthony, go ahead. Anthony.
Go ahead.
I was like, me and Anthony, we everybody is like has a stigma, like they hate working with other wholesalers, or wholesalers are bad because they ruin the name. And for us, like we love wholesalers because in some cases they're going to bring us a deal. We might buy that deal. We're going to JV with them. Like we love wholesalers, and we love being that person to help facilitate the action, just because we don't know what's actually going to come of it. And whether it's only one time or 1,000 times, that one interaction could lead to infinite money.
Yeah.
I think that points back to building out the community, right? Like we talked about, like with the crypto. So what provides value on this planet is information, right? Specialized knowledge, and then the transfer of that specialized knowledge or information to the next person. And that's the network. That's the hive mind. Like, let's teach everybody this.
Is that Napoleon Hill?
No, I don't know. I just made that shit up right now.
Oh, that reminds me of Think and Grow Rich. That like specialized knowledge. He talks about that.
Yeah. So I love the idea. I love the concept. I know of it, but like I'm saying, I think where the magic happens is the sharing of the information is where the magic happens. Because if you know it for yourself, again, cool, you'll die a billionaire.
Yeah.
But like I'm trying to make a big billionaire, make all my friends a billionaire, like in the next 5 years, and that seems unfathomable to a lot of people. But in my mind, like no, if I gather enough personnel, I'm gonna hit my target. One thing I wanted to ask you about, man, was like you came into the hive mind early on. You kind of really didn't engage with the community, so you bounced, and then we didn't see you again. And then after we connected in Florida, you came back, and then you called me. He said, "Hey, I got some good news." And he told me what you were kind of doing with some other members. So I just kind of wanted, if you could just give us like 2 minutes of what your experience was like, because we do have people that come on board and they stay here for a little while, they never engage, and then we just don't see them anymore. So we're kind of wondering, like, what did you see that made you kind of want to circle back, and then what positive, things happened after you came back and started hanging out again?
For sure. So we've referenced this several times while speaking, but we went to Anthony and I were at a Wholesaling Land 101 seminar in Fort Lauderdale a few weeks ago. And that's Derby's group. What's the other? That's Derby's group. So some of you guys know that.
It's Derby and Jared. Yeah. Amazing people.
Yeah, Derby and Jared. Yeah, really great people. It was super cool. I went to their event, and it was really, really cool to be surrounded by a ton of people who were easily doing like 100K, like $100,000 a month. Just like heavy hitters, and kind of just like surrounding myself with all of those kinds of people. And additionally, I was a part of the mastermind of that weekend. So it was like a 2-day event. And so I was at the mastermind, and it really like broke down the business. And hive mind, like systems, was a really important part of the business. Like the breakdown, the infrastructure, obviously. And hive mind was like, hey, like, you know, it consolidates a lot of stuff. So like a lot of other softwares and systems. So like it doesn't make sense to like be using a ton of different things. Like everything is just like here in one place. And like we were writing out workflows. Megan Gillane, she was writing out, I actually took her course too, and it was pretty cool. But sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, she was like breaking down the workflows of like if then statements, and like just going like kind of like a deeper dive into a workflow, and how it was like possible to do that like with HiveMind. So like that was pretty eye-opening. And so that's like what made me, I was like, okay, like cool, like I'm gonna get this again. Like I'm gonna figure out how to create these workflows. And then honestly, even if the CRM didn't exist, I would still like be a part of this group, just because like I've like the networking that I've done with people is very impactful. Like I've met some really great people. I just like kind of started commenting on stuff like other people's posts, just hitting people up like, oh, you're in this market, like tell me more, like let's have a conversation, and then just like going from there. And yeah, just like honestly just trying to help people. Like I made a shift in like my thinking of saying like, here, let me try and figure out how to phrase this. Like not having any sense of like competitiveness, only a sense of collaboration. So like not like gatekeeping any kind of information, which is like what gurus do and like all that. That's like not what happens. Like this is decentralized, right? Like everything is like open, just like ask people questions and stuff, and like everyone's like happy to help. But just being completely like collaborative, I suppose. And like transparent, yeah, exactly. And like just wanting to like help other people is like something that like helps with growth, I think. Because it's like someone said this, it was like I'd rather have like 40% of like a watermelon than 100% of a grape, which I really like that concept. So like there's nothing wrong with joint venturing deals. Like I kind of was opposed to that for a little bit. I don't know, like maybe having a bad rap with like doing like getting in a daisy chain, and there's nothing wrong with that either if people are like open and transparent and have good communication. But yeah.
I think that's where the magic sauce is, bro. Yeah. You said it. I forgot exactly how you said it, but for me, like you said,
I do too.
not being, I love that too, because as I'm speaking, I forget what I'm gonna say, and like I said, my brain just goes down this pathway that's more important, and then I'm like, whatever I said before is like this trumps that.
Yeah.
But you said like about not being the gatekeeper of the information. I think that is the holy grail for real estate, right? People want to know, what is the perfect close, what's the perfect paperwork, what's the perfect asset, and that's all secondary to the mindset. Is that, you know, I would rather again teach 10,000 people or 100,000 people to do what I'm doing in hopes that I could 50-50 a deal with them. So if I did 50-50 deal with 10,000 people, you know, that's going to be significant. So, and then as I get smarter, as I connect with more people, I become more intelligent, and the people around me, like I try to spread that information in hopes that somebody will bring me 1 million square feet of mini storage so that we could take it down. Right. So I can do one of two things. I can harbor the information. I can be the gatekeeper, and I can say, I want $20,000 to tell you what I know. Or I just get on Zoom and say it live for free. And then some dude randomly calls me 90 days from now, like, hey, I got 1 million square foot mini storage. Can we do this? Yes. Where are you?
Yeah.
I need more information. And I love that mindset, dude. It really is. It's, as cheesy as that sounds, it really is mindset.
Yeah. Dude, I was gonna say, send you.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna send you guys both this. I'm super on Twitter right now, and it's just for crypto purposes. And I keep relating this back, but I have a really cool thread that I want to share with you both. It's like talking about the proximity to power. And like, I feel like that's kind of like relevant, like proximity to like the power of all of these minds connected together is like something that sets you apart. It's a really cool theory. I'd like to share that with both of you.
Yeah, sure.
I'd love to hear it.
I was gonna say the reason why I think people underestimate educating, because when you educate people, you sharpen your sword daily. And I heard Anthony say this before, is that whenever you educate people, you sharpen your sword every day. Hey, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. In fact, can be on a call with them about all the negotiations. So when you do it more and more by educating people, you become the best there ever was, because you're always practicing. So
I love that thought process. So that's so true.
If you're educating people about crypto, if you're educating people about real estate, the more you educate and put out there freely, the better you become.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you practice more than everybody else does.
Definitely.
Dude, I think I heard that first from Pace Morby, but it's something that I was doing subconsciously. When I was in college, I was 19 and 20 years old. I took radiology and physiology, aced everything. I have no memory, but I finished a class that, half the class would drop out of with, 102 for the semester. And all I would do is as soon as the lab or the lecture was over, I would teach my table immediately. It's the first thing I would do before I left class. And it helped me solidify the ideas. And then I was acing everything. So I carry that into my business with me, is that if I help everybody work on closes and, just everything, then I would become a master. And I heard Pace Morby say it on Real Estate Disruptors, that he calls everybody just to bring him in as the closer. So I immediately implemented that, even though I was fairly new at real estate. So, and even now to this day with HiveMind, I invite everybody, bring me in to negotiate multi-million-dollar deals. I won't let you down. And every time it's a up, I'm always going to kill it. I'm going to crush it. And every time I get on the call, it gives me a high and I'm getting better. And Sharonda was like, hey, you shouldn't take on maybe you don't have to take on all that burden. Like, let them. And I'm like, nope. It's like a gladiator. Like, give me the damn sword, bring out that beast. I'm going to go kill him real quick. I get better every single time. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I love that thought process. Cause like you guys both just articulated that like very well. And like, cause I did something similar. Like I just brought on an intern and we're basically like, excuse me, we're helping another investor work his leads. Like that's kind of like what my intern's purpose is like right now. He's kind of like sharpening his sword, and like I'm sharpening my sword by teaching him how to close. And like he makes the initial contact with a seller they're already like qualified leads. So like he makes the initial like recontact, and then I'm closing. So it's like, hey, we got this person who wants to sell, like blah blah blah. Can you call? And like, I mean, it's so far, it's only like 2 out of 2 like closes. But like that's so true. Like getting on the phone and like just teaching how to close makes me a better closer. And like we got 2 deals under contract. We're actually waiting for one more to be like this one to be signed. So 1 under contract, 1 waiting to be signed. But that's totally true. I really like that thought process of like whatever you're good at, like get into your strength and then like show other people how to do it and not gatekeep information. Those are big takeaways.
So a lot of people, they always teach like find out what your weakness is and build on your weakness. And we teach the opposite, because if you know what your strengths are, focus on your strengths, and you can always find somebody to fill in or hire that weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Because that could be their strength.
Definitely. I entirely agree. Yeah, it's definitely good you feel like you're in flow when you're working in your strengths.
Yeah, and
at least I do. I feel
it's no longer a hassle either.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer a hassle. Like, hey, I don't want to do that. I can do it, but I don't want to because it's not my strength. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very important to actually focus on your strengths, and whatever you're struggling with, know the basics of it, but hire it out. That's very, very important. Very, very important.
Yeah.
I think that is the hive mind. That's the premise of the hive mind. Yeah, become a god in what you're good at, and then everything else, lean on the community. Find the people that could be your leg and your arm and your fingertips, and just do what you're good at. So if I just sat in a room all day, every day, and just closed people, both buyers and sellers, I would just become a billionaire by next week, because that's what I love to do. And I'm in the zone. I am in the finals, game 7. About to take that last shot every day when I'm closing somebody. And it gives me an adrenaline rush, makes me feel happy, makes me feel successful. And I don't know why my brain is wired like that. Maybe that's not the most powerful skill. There's going to be a guru that watches this and says, man, you shouldn't even be on the phone if you want to get to the level. I get it. But I'm just saying right now, there's nobody on the planet that's better at me than when I'm in my space. And if I could only spend time doing that, then I would go further faster. So now we find a Daniel, we find a Matthew, we find the people that are out there that are going to be the supporting system. And then everybody's only doing their they're a master at. And so now we're a force that can't be reckoned with, because if you try to like penetrate this armor or this machine, it's like, no, there's too many people performing at an optimum level. It's impenetrable, it's undefeatable. And that's what we're building, man. So we're glad that you're a part of it, dude. Super excited to be connected with you.
Absolutely. Likewise. I feel like I always get smarter after our conversations.
So one thing I love, I thought you were older. One thing I love is that you're only 22. 22 years old, the sky's the limit. I'm only 29, Anthony's 40. The crazy thing about this is that I feel like young people, they get the multiplication factor of time. Like you at 22, like at 30, you should, like at 30, who knows where the hell you'll be at 30, but like 30 is like what?
Dude, yeah, I never made anywhere close to over 100K in my 20s. I partied my whole 20s, dude. I never touched anything significant until 2016. Like I squandered my whole youth. So when I meet somebody like you, man, it's like, holy
DeAndre,
shit.
like all these young people that are killing
Tony Romero, the #1 recruiter in Hivemind, is 21 years old. So like the kids nowadays are like just absolutely destroying, like just making new realities from now on, like just printing new realities at will. It's amazing to watch.
So
yeah, I like that thought process.
So I commend you, man. 22 years old, keep it up, man. There's definitely a long road ahead, but plenty of accolade, man. You could be $100 million like level, you know, like so Coach Sean, you kind of hopped in the meeting we ended. He just told us his goal is to create $25 million in the next 5 years. So and he's been an entrepreneur for 20 years. He's been an entrepreneur for 20 years. So for me, I've been an entrepreneur for 4. And for me, I'll hit $1 million in revenue that I've created this year. I'll hit $1 million. So for me, I'm like, that's gonna be me 15 years from now. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. So like it's almost inspiring to have like these preliminary conversations, because I started my first business when I was 25. So I'm 4 years in, I'm 29. So it's just like, it's cool to be on the journey that I've been on, but you've had a lot more success than I have as far as with just movement in general in real estate. I wish I had started in real estate, but it is what it is. I learned a lot from business, and I think young people, anybody listen to this, start when you're young, because I tell people all the time, when you're under 30, you can fuck up. You can fuck up as many times as you want, and it's not going to hurt, because you still have time to recoup and get to the next level. So go hard, because if you fuck up, something happens, you can always pick up and just pivot. It's very, very easy.
I think Colonel Sanders is that the name of the guy, but like I don't think he started KFC until he was like 65.
Yep.
So like Anthony said this, like I like it. He said you like create your own reality at will. Like you can do that at any age, but 100%. I appreciate that. And then I have a question for both of you, individually, but like same question. If you had to just give me like a one-liner or like a sentence or two of like just the best piece of advice that you would have if you were me right now, what would it be?
So I have this one. This is actually my quote, and it's just because of what I've seen. So you build your infamy off the content you produce, because we're in the information age, and the more content you produce, there's always going to be consumers of that content. Yes, I'm not the master guru, everything, but everything you say, once it's on the internet, it's forever. So imagine you build your own digital real estate for the next 30, 40 years. You're going to be a fucking mogul in the digital space, because you've been building and producing content for so long. And we're heading into the digital space as a whole. So the more content you produce, it actually builds and creates your own infamy.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, I think what's happening right now, I'm just going to just touch on what Daniel said, is that you're recording your life, right? We're all finite. At some point, we're all going to leave this planet. Let's say you only have 60 years left or 80. The time's going to pass no matter what. So if you capture as much of that as possible, right, both on film, audio, everything, anything that you could do to record the story of your life. You know, maybe it's creating NFTs, like writing books, anything that you do to contribute to like the digital record of yourself, you can monetize. And then you're the only one that decides what that time is worth. So by us having podcasts and training people how to do real estate, we're betting on the fact that those moments that we've invested are going to turn into a greater return, right? So I think that's what Daniel just said, you know, times 100. And I think if I had a one-liner, it would be, I want everybody to know that marketing is everything. If you have a desire to be in business, if you want to get elected for an office, if you want to grow a company, become wealthy, become famous, you know, become anything you ever want it to be, is that marketing is the engine that drives that. That's it. So I think marketing is everything. You know, you could be, like I said, you can get elected president, you can start a hedge fund, you can start a cryptocurrency, you can build an audience, you could build a real estate company. Everything is driven by marketing. And then, so if you get lost in the minutia of business, then you'll go down all these rabbit holes, you know, advertising and branding and meetups and classes and all this crap. But at the start of it, you just need an engine, right? The same way that your heartbeat is an engine. So I call a marketing system an engine, because you can convert some of the capital that you make by exchanging your time of the day, right? Whether it's in a work or whether it's like a YouTuber behind a camera, you can exchange some of your life energy for capital. And then if you take a portion of that capital and invest it into marketing, you essentially have a second heartbeat, the one in your chest and the one that's in your marketing system. And then you could build anything you want with that engine. And then as soon as that engine becomes powerful enough, you can pour it into another one and into another one. And so now you become infinite. So I just want people to know that making marketing like your lifeblood, it makes everything very, very easy. Everything you ever wanted to accomplish, like in business or like happiness or anything like that, it all starts with marketing, man.
That's very true. Marketing creates leads, leads create deals, deals create money.
So if you take some cash and you buy marketing, then you can turn that cash into anything. You could do 1,000 a month and turn it into $1 billion a year. And people cannot fathom that level of return, but that's what it is. We're converting physical cash into digital, and there's no cap yet on the price.
So the funny thing you asked that is because we usually ask our every interview the same question. Is there a quote you like, whether it's yours or somebody else's, that you resonate with?
Hunter S. Thompson said, buy the ticket, take the ride. And I like that. Not really relevant to real estate, I guess, but I like that. You can interpret it how you will.
I was gonna say that probably applies to everything, both in life and, you know, all of it. Yeah, like just do the thing. Mm-hmm. I've been a ready, fire, aim guy since I was born. And yeah, if you get an opportunity, if you see an opening, take it, see what happens. I feel like I'm a scientist more than I am a real estate guy or a marketing guy, because I'll never stop experimenting. I've experimented on my body for 20 years now, you know, with all this keto and fasting. I fasted over 23 days, 21 days twice. I'm always putting my body through these weird things to see what would the outcome be. And then I operate my business like that. I kind of operate my life like that. And it's been fun, man. I do feel like a scientist. I was walking a sub-2 house with some Hive guys a couple of weeks ago, and there was a 4-year-old in the house showing us around while her mom was cooking. And I'm coming down the stairs and she said, "I really like your shirt." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And she goes, "I wish I was a scientist like you." It was a hive mind shirt, dude. So that's funny that she identified me, like a child identified me as a scientist. I felt very like it was equally hilarious and equally humbling. Like, that is so dope that she knows I'm a scientist.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. Solving equations, solving problems, problem solving science. Yeah, there's like a correlation for sure.
I love it, dude. It's like the happiness formula. How many things do you have to do to become happy? Like, I had this girl message me that I went to high school with, and she was like, "Hey, do you smoke?" And I'm like, "What?" And on Facebook Messenger, I'm like, who messages a stranger that, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, that's a weird question. I was like, "Why did you ask me that?" And she was like, "Because you're always so dang happy." So I kind of I hacked happiness too while I was at it. And I think that's important, man.
That's good. That's great. Love that.
Well, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming on with us. And now, one thing we love about doing stuff like this with our users is once we post this, you can actually Google yourself in HiveMind, and you're now online forever. So
cool.
You've now put, if you haven't done it before, this is your first footprint in the sand of the metaverse or online in the online space, if you haven't done it before. So it's kind of cool and interesting. And one of the reasons why I didn't know the power of this, but one of the reasons why we put everybody's full name on everything that they do is because we want to leave a footprint. So like if you Google, if you Google Mike HiveMind, there's YouTube videos, there's Instagram pictures, there's him on TikTok. He's putting his own footprint in the digital space where now people can actually Google your name and they find you.
Nice.
If you do that enough, your footprint becomes large, and now you're making an impact in the future.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So the experience that I've had from that is somebody calls me and he's like, "Hey, I'm trying to put in my card and it's not going through." And I'm like, who is this? He's like, "Yeah, I just saw your video on YouTube and I clicked the link and I'm trying to put in my credit card and it's not going through." So this dude was already giving me money and I've never spoken with him before. So that's the power, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, hey, gentlemen. Yeah, I appreciate you being on here, man. These calls are always amazing. We just like to know who's in our universe, and we consider the people that are here, man. These are our friends. And these are the people that we care about. We've lost a couple of like friends and family members of other community members, and sent flowers. Like we cry with these people, man. So we appreciate you being here and sharing your time with us. We know time is valuable. So, hey, man, thanks for being on. This one was
100%.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Me too. We should. I'm happy that you guys asked me to be a part of it. Hope I can provide value in some way to anybody. If someone hears this,
all right,
provide any kind of value.
All right, appreciate the kind of conversation. We'll put your information below on the video below.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, brother.